Good evening, everyone. And again, a warm welcome to all the delegates for this important session that we are going to have on insurance. I think insurance has been one of the key spokes into auto dealership. And overall insurance, if I look at motor insurance in India, it is contributing to almost 1 trillion Indian rupees in terms of its market size, and growing at almost 11 to 12% on a CAGR basis, expected to reach 2 trillion by 2029, contributing to almost one-third of the non-life insurance market in the country today. I'm sure it has its own importance with the insurance companies as well. While this is there, it is also plagued by a lot of, though it is always known to be a loss-making business for them, but health also contributes equally into this business of insurance companies. For us dealers, this has been one of the key revenue sources and an important component both in sales and at service as well. So again, I want to extend a warm welcome to all the panelists. Just to set the tone here, I'll like to understand how we see this business from the insurer's end and how do they relate to it as a partnership with the dealers. Let me start with Mr. Mehta, your views on this business.
Yeah, thank you. If you really look at the insurance ecosystem, I think this cannot flourish if there is no intermediation. And when we look at intermediation, the key intermediary channel is actually the dealership business or the MISP business today. And I think the entire, the entire universe around vehicles has three elements to it. One, the customer who is buying the vehicle, the dealer who's selling it, and obviously the insurance company, which is basically giving the cover. And be it the policies and the remuneration thereon, or the after sales related to accidental repairs, replacement, so on and so forth, even that is a revenue channel for the dealership. So I think this entire ecosystem is well oiled, and while we do see some amount of frictions, but I think the transformation in today's time is more towards how do we get more customers retained in the dealership channel. How do we ensure the customer loyalty to continue with the insurance company and the dealer partner? And what should be done as a plus one, which a customer sees as a unique proposition when he looks at a dealership and an insurance company in combination. I think that's where the product line has to continuously keep getting expanded. So from a vanilla insurance product, you've already moved to products which basically cover 100% depreciation, return to invoice, things like that. You're going to the next level where you're also looking at some amount of accidental and hospitalization products getting attached to motor policies. That is on the retention side. Then obviously bettering of the price, end price to the customer without really compromising on the dealer remuneration. How do you select a customer which can yield better returns more from an insurance standpoint and also from the dealer point? I think this entire universe, I would say, requires constant monitoring and very, very high level of communication both sides. And obviously, overarching to all of this is the OEM MISP programs and those program managers who actually are the catalyst in this getting this entire piece together. So these are my opening views.
Thank you, Atul. Rohit, I'd like to get your views also on this.
Thanks, Rajesh. I think motor insurance, I think each one of us is aware, is the most critical component, a product category for the general insurance company. But I think one thing which you all need to understand is this product category is evolving very fast these days. It's always used to be an asset-based pricing product. We used to price Maruti Swift, Honda City, etc. The industry is changing, and if you look at from the regulator perspective also, I think they're making a lot of regulatory changes, and it's becoming more of an individual. How Rohit is driving, how Atul is driving, maybe the same vehicle, the risk is very different. And hence we need to keep that in mind that it is a very evolving dynamic product category in this industry. and it will continue to be a very dominant product category in the industry. Coming specifically to the dealership as a distribution arm for an insurance company, it's a very critical role, and that's one of the reasons why the regulator has made this channel a regulatory channel to sell insurance, right? I see this channel not only contribute significantly for the motor, but in the coming years, it will all start contributing on the other lines of product also. Because the customers first come to you, buy a vehicle, and then they buy a motor insurance, right? And you have a primary ownership with the customer. And hence, your ability to know the needs of the customer and sell other products will continue to be very relevant.
Thank you, Rohit. So, Ms. Sreedevi, taking to what Mr. Rohit said on how dealers can be the channel with the dealers, though the MISP dictates only the products that we are selling, but in case now we want to do any cross-selling, for example, household insurance or health, Atul also mentioned about hospitalization and other policies, or even personal accident policies like this. So how do you see this evolving, and how the insurance companies are looking at this partnership to take it there?
Thank you, Sharvik, and good evening to all of you. When we see the automotive sector, in fact, it constitutes almost 7% of our GDP, and it's a growing sector. Now, many of the dealers are MISPs, and otherwise also they are into insurance in a big way. Now, if you see from the insurance point of view, even today, 56% of our motor vehicles are uninsured. That is the data. So there is a lot of scope for insurance going forward, and this is a growing industry. You would have seen how IRDA is coming out with various regulations, and so there is tremendous scope in insurance, and you being out there with a large base of clientele. In fact, I would say that you are one of the intermediaries with the largest client base. So there is tremendous scope for improvement, and like you were saying, we do have so many products. If you look at all the general insurance companies, we do have more than 200 plus products out there, which you can always sell to your clientele. Now, as far as the regulations are concerned, right now, MISP can sell only motor products. But going forward, we do not know. A lot of changes are coming in the sector. And there are other intermediary channels as well, which you can look out for. So I would say that there is a tremendous scope for cross-selling of all the products out there. And as you said, home insurance. Then if you see like some natural calamities happening across, now the protection gap is also almost 83%. So when I say that, it means when a natural calamity happens like a flood or something that we have seen a lot happening last year, almost 83% of those damaged vehicles are uninsured. That is something seriously which we have to think about. So I believe that there is tremendous scope out there.
So you mean to say that the enforcement and reach has to improve?
Definitely.
But don't you think that should be, no doubt, as dealers, dealer partners, we will ensure to reach out more. But how do you think the insurance companies or as a whole, we use this country's administration to help us in getting that? What are your views on?
Because as an insurance company, we are definitely with you. Because we do have the reach for all these products, and we can always bundle up some products for you which can be very easily sold to the customers. And when I see a dealer, the customers always come in. You are slightly different from other intermediaries, wherein, if I talk about an agent, the moment he sells a policy, then maybe he would see that same client when a claim comes or during the next renewal. But in your case, it is totally different. They keep coming back to you, either for service of the cars or for any other, for new products or new add-on, value add-ons or new accessories. So you are always in touch with your clientele. So definitely I feel as an insurers, we can definitely come out with more bundle package policies, something that will help the clients.
Thank you, ma'am. Vikas, on taking this further to what ma'am said, you being a broker as well, don't you think that brokers like you can engage with dealers and get these products? Still, there is a regulation coming in from from IRDA. Could you be in a position to offer our dealer partners solutions that can enhance cross-selling?
Yeah, thank you, Sharvik. And good evening, everybody. Before I answer the question, I thank FADA in organizing this event, in which it has been there from past few years now, and a very structured event in which insurance and finance is actually spoken about. So it is a very good opportunity for everybody to understand how things have been and how things are going to shape up in future. So now I come to your question, Sharvik. So if you see the past, in fact, the way things have come up, regulator has actually opened up so many things. They are not limited only to one or the other line of business. So what's happening is, currently MISP is supposed to sell only motor insurance. But if you go ahead and see, things would be really different going ahead. Now, if you talk about how as a broker I'm going to add value to that, yes. As a broker, I represent customers to insurance companies. That means I am on customer side. So what happens here is, when I talk to dealers, I have to find out what are the requirements which a customer has, and at the same time, what are the opportunities which he is missing on. So now, when we have a discussion with dealer, and since the trust is there, customers' trust is there on the dealership has invested crores to set up that. Since Madam also said some time back that, that renewals happen at dealership. Now, in that kind of situation, what happens here is we come out with a lot of products, we talk to insurance companies, integrate those products in our system so that it becomes easy for a dealership to sell it to the customers. Now, when customer is already there, you have a training to your team, and the system is there to take care of the products and the services, and everything is aligned. It becomes a smooth process in which insurance penetration, as the way government wants, it increases.
Thank you, Vikas. Another big concern for dealers is the reducing margins that we are making, and this is affected by a lot of intermediaries also playing their role into this business, where eventually they are given better margins and more discounts. While they prosper, we are losing to them. Rohit, how do you see MISP getting exclusivity into a business like this?
Sharvik, I think MISP is getting exclusivity. I don't think Indian market is today in a position where any one distribution arm would be given a monopoly right to sell a product. But if you look at it today, practically for all purpose, in the new vehicles, you have a monopoly itself. Right, 95% plus of the vehicles are insured by dealerships only for the new vehicle. I don't see any point of time it becoming a monopoly channel for motor insurance, but it will be the most dominant channel for motor insurance. If you look at it and just go back to what was happening pre-COVID, right, the focus of the dealerships on the old vehicles and the retention was very poor, right? And the COVID and the lockdown taught us that how important it is to retain the customers, when the new vehicle sales were almost zero, right? And then if you look at the journey after the COVID till now, we have seen the dealership channels retention rates have significantly improved. That means the other channels are reducing every year on year, right? And hence we believe if we start focusing and keeping customer in mind, right, that we have to retain the customer, as ma'am was saying, that the customer keeps coming into you multiple times, right? And if the customer has taken insurance from you, you are assured of he coming to you for service. You are assured that for repairs, he will keep coming to you. And hence we have to start looking insurance as a very different way, that it's also a way, a medium to ensure that the customer sticks with you. And hence, if we start looking at it from that perspective and start working on ensuring the customer is protected and renewed, and it continues to be with the dealership channels, I think the regulatory, you will never be the monopoly, but yeah, you will be so dominant that like new, you can be the old pseudo-monopoly you can run.
Well said, Rohit. Thank you. Taking this forward, Mr. Tiwari, I would like to understand, repairs are always considered to be a little higher cost at dealerships. and so is the TAT. How do you suggest tools or processes or equipments that can help us improve our efficiencies, improve our margins in our workshops?
Thank you, Mr. Shah. I come from the equipment background, and repair, not replace, has been our mantra for quite some time. A lot of progress has been made in this category, especially if you look at a body shop. Almost 65 to 70% of the workload in body shop comes from the smaller repairs. Okay, they are not full vehicle crash, they are insurance claim, but then they are smaller in nature. We have been able to work and get equipments, we call them as a PDR, paintless dent removal system. Little bit skill one requires, but I am pretty sure with the kind of manpower that is available in the dealership, if one is focused little bit on the training on them, one can use these tools to bring productivity and also at the same time reduce the cost, because it's clearly a tool that can do a good amount of work without disturbing the paint in the system. We have been working on this, and it's been, let's say, it is still a long way to go to get acceptance across the various OEMs, but it's still certainly a tool globally that is used to improve the productivity in the workshop, especially in the smaller job area, which is the majority of the load in the workshop.
Thank you. So I think Mr. Tiwari is wanting Mr. Sahai, you to be out of business. If he doesn't want to get the vehicles repaired without any paint. Your views also on how, eventually when the car is delivered and if it's a proper painted car, and that's where, the skill and also the infrastructure makes, and that what dealers have. What is your views on this point?
Okay, thanks Sharvik, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So I contribute to automotive repair industry from a automotive coating paint supplier point of view, and as one of the stakeholder where OEM is there, where repairer you is there, and then obviously insurance company is there, and we are there contributing our bit. One thing in the past, say 25, 30 years of landscape in India, we have seen that though we are, one of the stakeholder in this ecosystem, but there are a lot of push and pull happens amongst us where we actually talk all the customer centricity, because actually customer is one, but whom he belongs. Plus the way this industry have matured in past 25, 30 years, today you mentioned 85% contribute, paid by insurance, 60% is a small repair. Still, 2-3 panel jobs are getting paid by insurance company. Are we mature to handle those repairs effectively, efficiently? And before that, it's not just about, repairing it or painting it. The customer pain starts while the time he comes to a shop and estimation starts. So we always say key to key time. Since he gives the key for estimation and come back after getting repaired. So while we as a stakeholder, we always feel that proper efficiency in terms of tools and equipment, training, skill sets of a technician, everything play a role. However, still what in India, if we compare with a matured market and our origination, we see labor time estimation is actually not there. And lot many time when we as a stakeholder connect in an individual basis, everybody is putting their interest first to kill other one. So that is where when the customer is same, stakeholders are evolved around the same customer, if we tend to kill each other just by not looking overall efficiency which impacts the profitability heavily, it's like dog eat dog. And then it becomes non-viable day by day. For a lot of people, voices these pain in isolation. So again, as when I speak to a lot of people, it's like you being in a European Union and different people is speaking different language. Ultimately, we are trying to feel that, okay, customer is going to speak all 4 languages which we are speaking individually. So key to key time will going to be key play. Digitalized estimation is, I see, a biggest thing. Though a lot of, bottlenecks are there, but that's very, very important. Why it's important? Because if you look at average dealership, average shop which repairs, say, 200, 250 cars in a month, in a 25 working day, roughly 10 cars is repairing. If there are 5, 6, service advisor who estimate that repair, and if you show the same car, same accident car to 5 estimators, they will estimate it differently. And the same car, if you look the estimation going to a different insurance company, you will also see a different logic of cutting down the cost, not approving it on individual wins and fancies. So is that ecosystem matching? Is that standardization we have attained? So my answer is that is where it's something for which I'm very, very personally thankful to FADA who have aligned these stakeholders together. And this should be a starting point how, when we have a vision to become a developed country, how we mature on these aspects, how can we be more transparent. And once we'll be more transparent, we'll look the nitty-gritties, other ecosystem will align the help together to ensure the right, succession. We have to sustain together.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Sahai. Yeah.
Sharvik, I'll just need to add one. So, Vivek, you said different stakeholders are there. In fact, at Mahindra, I think we have MES, in which the estimation goes very fast. So, there is no doubt about it, wherein, X person or Y person giving estimate or somebody else giving the, information. When OEM has set a standard, that's the place where the, the change is coming. When you're saying we are going towards developed country, yes, we are going towards that.
Thank you. Thank you for that input, Vikas. I think one thought that came from your and a feed forward for us at FADA is that one stakeholder is missing in this panel is the surveyor, because he's one key person who also plays an important cog.
Very true.
Taking this forward from Mr. Tiwari and Mr. Sahai, I would like to ask this to the insurance representatives. See, many times repair and replacement is a very big challenge, and can we not look at, looking at the age of vehicle, and also now most of the OEMs are supplying us child parts, where, it is always demanded by the customer that I want it to be replaced then a repair. If we can sort of create a balance, and how we can do that, as rightly again said, by having the right estimation tools. Also, probably this is an age of AI, where we can use these tools with AI to, come up with the right estimation. We all have database. Another thing to that is, this was started during COVID times. There were video, and I'm saying you were doing video calls and looking at estimations. I think GoDigit is continuing to do that, but others have stopped doing this. So, your views on the settlement process and how this can be, improved and get a better customer experience, create a comfort for the dealer to execute this. Your views. You want to add something? Yeah.
So here, if you really look at repair and replacement, I think the thing here is that the ideal case is that whatever is repairable should be repaired and what is replaceable should be replaced. Obviously, the customer satisfaction is primary and vehicle safety cannot be compromised. But these are more like the guiding principles. But if you really see, and like you rightly said, if the estimation process is refined properly, if the estimate is very legible and is detailed, I think this entire debate of what is repaired, what is replaced will get cut down to a great extent. Then comes the communication part of it, whether or not the insurance company or the surveyor is communicating properly to the customer, and is there a reverse communication with the dealer as well. I think these things in a combination will lead to a situation where there will be less friction. And we should also understand that by getting into more repairs, it is also environment friendly because that's one responsibility all of us have. The plastic parts specifically, if they're repairable, they should be repaired because the replacement obviously has the wider repercussions. But at the end of it, it is about striking a fine balance without creating customer friction. And I think a lot of the organizations are working towards that. Nothing can be perfect. On-ground friction will continue, but I think if all of us as stakeholders are committed to really follow some guiding principles, this will actually get achieved. And with more and more technology coming in, I think the estimation process and the loss assessment is becoming key. And there is a larger piece which obviously can sound controversial because the premium is only as much. And all costs, including remuneration and claims, come out of it. So everybody has to be judicious in the price. And obviously the claims have to be paid. A customer is not at fault if the insurance premium keeps getting lowered or keeps getting increased. Somebody has to communicate why is the reason. So I think that's where it is.
The digital, the video, you continue and a lot of others. So what merits did you see there?
In terms of?
In the, going...
online service.
Yes.
So actually this brings a lot of efficiency. But if you really see, I would still say that there are a lot of elements where we as an organization still would pursue a physical survey. And this has to be related to, let's say, close proximity, or we feel that there are some underwriting lapses. But then those cases are stray, very few. But yes, it brings in a lot of efficiency. The communication is very fast and everything is like black and white. So I think there is a lot of buy-in from the dealer fraternity per se, because at the end of it, the car actually goes to the garage of the dealer. And if the dealer is not buying this, obviously the customer obviously will get influenced there.
Your views, Rohit?
Shahji, I think you said COVID helped it to surge. I think most of the insurance companies had the online video survey much before the COVID also. The acceptance from the dealership fraternity was very less, and COVID helped to increase the adaptability of that platform. If you ask to talk about specifically to us as an organization, we hit the rate of around 74-75% of our survey happening online. Every technology comes with its own positives as well as negatives, and any technology today, we have all the smartphones, right? We have so many social media apps and other apps, and it can be misused. Similarly, the apps technology which we have built for ensuring there's a better customer service, we have seen instances of it being misused. And hence, that is the resistance which is now coming from the insurance company to completely keep promoting it. And if you look at it, it's not stopped, right? We invested a lot of money to develop that software and we're using it. And having a parallelly a huge human manforce to continue to lead that in survey doesn't make any economic sense for us. But I think it's where we will request the dealership fraternity to come and start using it judiciously. And if you use it judiciously, we as an insurance company will always love to have a technological solution rather than anything which is human dependent.
Thank you. Ms. Sreedevi, your views on the same, and you think a collaboration with the insurance companies and the OEMs to develop such a technology for supporting this could help us?
Yes, we were talking about repair, replace, and then we are talking about the modern tools that we should bring out. So if you look at that, as other panelists said, definitely we have to give the best service to our customers, whether it is repair. If repair can be done, it has to be done. Replacement has to be made, it has to be made. Now, regarding the technology aspect, as an organization, we are also thinking of, we have already come out with the AI-based app and we are doing it. But then we also believe that it has to be on a hybrid mode. definitely for smaller claims. Now, if you look at the majority of our claims, almost 60 to 70% comes below 50,000. That is a very, small amount. So these are small claims which can be settled very quickly by the insurance company. So again, estimate, it has to be properly made. And then the survey also, we find that surveyor is there at the earliest. So through this app, and also we have to understand that machine learning and AI that we talk about, it's a very nascent stage, especially in our country. The accuracy of that, it's all, a lot of improvement has to come at that stage. So we are looking at all these aspects, how technology can help us. But the end result should be that the customer has to be, he has to be happy, that customer delight has to happen at the end of the day. So we also look at faster claim settlement through all these technologies. Did I answer you? Or?
Yes, so I think this is a journey that we all have to travel together.
Yes, right.
Another important point most dealers today are, dodging with or, facing is umbrella policy as a whole for the dealership itself. May it be the showrooms. We invest a lot in our showrooms and in our workshops. And similarly, beyond the showrooms, it's the stocks that we carry, the demo cars, the cars that are there with us for repairs, then pick up and drop for our customers, and even, the cars that are there for repairs. Many times we've seen that we have taken it out for just after repairs for a test drive and coming back. There are some incidences or losses that come in there. So there is not a single umbrella policy for a dealership per se. Don't you think now it's a high time with almost 23,000 dealers, over 23,000 dealers in the country today? This is a great opportunity for insurance companies to come up with something like this. Your views, ma'am?
Yes, definitely. See, when we talk about an umbrella policy, what we mean is a policy which encompasses all those risks that a particular dealership or showroom is facing. One thing we have to understand with the new product regulations that have come in, IRDA has given us totally a free hand to come up with any product that the insurance company can. Earlier, the process of filing, it was file and use, then it became use and file. And now that is also not entirely taken away. So as insurers, we do have a total free hand to come out with the product the way we want and our customer wants. So there is always a scope for discussion, and it can be. There is absolutely nothing that hinders such a product. And already, if you ask me, there are such package policies for various other sectors. If you look at petroleum dealers, we do have a package policy. So here we have to identify what are the risks that is associated with a dealership. Definitely your showroom, your vehicles with trade certificates, then your transit, vehicle transit from the OEM to your dealership. There are so many risks associated with all the dealerships. Definitely we can always offer a bundle policy or an umbrella policy, as you would call it.
Thank you. Atul, what are the challenges that you see in such a policy? Where as an insurance company you see the concerns, and how probably you can create an advisory for the dealerships so that they can, while a policy like this is created, and we can save our premium cost there.
So if you really see, about designing a product, so product design is really not a concern. I think it is the underwriting and the risk which has to be insured. At times it causes some amount of friction with the underwriter. So basically, while the coverages are all available in the market, to design an umbrella policy also can happen. But I think the best way to approach this is that insurance companies need to individually look at the risk they want to insure. And obviously there has to be a price against each risk. And if you really look at the Indian market, on the property side and some of the things related to stock and all, I think the premium is disproportionate to the risk perception. But what happens typically is that these are the premiums which get accumulated over a period of time, and then there are events like Chennai floods or some large events which are NatCat, and that's where the liability arises. So I think from a customer standpoint, and here the customer will be dealer, one needs to understand that some amount of premium will have to be incurred, and at times it can look at as a steep cost. But if you really look back at least only 3-4 years from now, looking back, areas which never had floods are having floods. A lot of inundation cases, storms and cyclones are coming thrice, 4 times a year. I think this is the time where one needs to let go of those, I would say judgment calls that I don't need this insurance. As long as there is a price to it, and there is a price to it, I think that these coverages are very, very simple to stitch and purchase. But somebody has to be patient with it, because in 1 year, one might feel that, I have incurred so much of cost, but no claims. But then these are the events which nobody wants to happen, but they're happening as we speak.
Thank you, Atul. Rohit, your views in the same thing, but also if you can, talk about the new age places where fidelity, cybercrime, and with the new age where payments are coming as UPI, or people, connecting and taking money out of our accounts, or the customers being fleeced, or some other liabilities that could come to a dealership where you think we can get insured and safeguard ourselves?
Definitely it can be. I think today anything other than life can be covered by a general insurance, right? It's called a non-life insurance. We name it and it can be insured. Yes, there are risks associated with it, and as Atul was mentioning, any risk you want to cover, it comes at a price. And a lot of times it happens that it never happened. In my case, I never felt there's a claim which I have incurred, right? And hence why I should pay, right? I think we need to come into the ecosystem is changing a lot, right? Today, what is used as a technology is not anywhere relevant in 6 months, 1 year down the line, right? And today, if you look at from the insurance company, we have cyber insurance as a product, right? Both for corporate as well as for our individuals, right? So obviously we market the product, but all these products comes at a price, and that's, I believe, the awareness about these products is very low, and the people really think it's an expense and not as a protection. I think that's very important for us to realize that it's a protection, and it may happen once in 5 years, it may happen once in 10 years, but if it happens and you don't have an insurance, then it wipes out everything. And hence, paying that amount is much more important rather than saying that I want to take that insurance, but I want to negotiate the pricing to a level. And that is the only reason why today insurance companies don't underwrite those, because it finally, when a need comes, we say yes, the entire discussion moves to the pricing and where the people are not willing to pay.
Well said. I think the scope for a dealership insurance is very, very vast. And as I said earlier, with the volume of this, I'm sure the insurance companies will find substance and quality. Your views, Vikas, on such a policy, and if it is stitched together, I'm sure a lot of the financiers here would also, since they have already funded either the stocks or the dealership as such, would want to safeguard their interests also. So what are your views on this?
Shavik. So if I have to tell you our experience on this, we have been dealing with a lot of dealers in which we have some experience in doing dealer package policy. We had a vertical, and then we had run this business as a business, exclusive business. So when you make a package like this, dealer package policy, there are a lot of parts to it, whether it's plate class, fire, and internal vehicle within your custody, and then you have other manpower related. You have health insurance also, group health, and there's so many things which are involved in this. So if you have to study, one has to actually study all the risks which are involved while insuring this policy. So when we are insuring this policy, at that time, the information which has to be provided very clearly. Because going ahead, when I align with Rohit and Atul also here, that at the time of claim, if you start taking policy, then it does not work. So at the time of taking the policy, the information has to be given very clearly. And that was the experience with which we say that these dealer package policies are extremely good if the information is right at the inception. And then, of course, the claims, at the time of claims, you definitely need the documents. Some experience towards that documents had been, it was different because there have been past experiences based on which we have to learn and we have to move ahead. So as a product, dealer package policies are very good and extremely necessary for any dealership. So we have to actually go for it.
Thank you. I think we are also almost running out of time. I would like to thank the panelists for their wonderful inputs. I think it's very clear. Yeah, I would like anybody who has a question. Yes, Nikujantul. I think.
So thank you, Sharvik. I think you've done a wonderful job in terms of engaging with insurance companies and even with the repairers and their point of view on. I think where we are missing the point is that insurance is a fiduciary relationship with the customer, with the insured. We promise to give back the vehicle in the same condition in which we insured it. So when it comes to repair and replace, specifically vehicles which are less than a year old, imagine a customer who's taken a brand new vehicle, gets dented, and you say, it's repairable, we will repair it and not replace it. Are we being fair to the customer? My first question. My second question is about the umbrella policy. So while a lot of packaged policies have been designed and given to dealers, but when we actually get into a claim situation, there is so much of fine print that the surveyor or the investigator, whoever he might be, looks for all the reasons why the claim should not be paid instead of why the claim should be paid. My final question is on the number of investigations which are now getting triggered just because of the value of the claim. The prices of vehicles have gone above roof. I mean, if you look at just pre-COVID and COVID, it's a 40% increase in prices of vehicles. And anything which is coming into 6 figures, an investigation is ordered, and investigation can take anywhere from 1 week to a month for the investigator to give a report. What happens to me as a dealer because one of my productive bays has got blocked because the investigator is not giving a report and I'm not able to deliver the vehicle to the customer? So these 3 questions, there are number ones, there are a lot more, but these 3 questions to each of the insurance companies.
Who likes to go first?
Thank you, sir. So I'll just maybe give few points, and if you look at repair versus replacement, completely take your point. I myself am a car enthusiast, so if something happens to my car, ideal situation will be that I would want everything replaced. But we need to understand how the entire business operates, and you understand it much more better because you would be an entrepreneur yourself. Whatever is, like I said, whatever is repairable has to be compulsorily repaired because there is an element of premium to claims. And the idea is not to, idea should not be to harass any customer, but the customer expectations have to be managed. And I think this can get managed if the right parts are repaired, which are repairable, and one which compromises the safety or the authenticity of the vehicle should be replaced, as simple as that. But I think where the friction occurs, and this friction is typically, I would say in about 2 to 5% of the cases, is where the customer expectation, the dealer expectation, and the insurance company expectation doesn't really meet. So I think on the go, this actually, I cannot give a black and a white answer, but I think if you look at, if I can talk of my personal experience, we would say that maximum cases, or in fact almost all the cases, wherever there is a replacement necessary, I think those are honored. But at the same time, take your point, those frictions definitely exist, and I think this is something, to be fair, will continue because you cannot arrive at an ideal situation. So that's point number one. If you look at the investigation element, what you just pointed out in claims, we must also see that what is triggering the investigations. While some companies might get into this piece quite often, one might perceive that nobody's really investigating, but that's not the case. Investigations get triggered in cases of legal liability, third-party liability, some swapping of documents like DL, swapping of vehicles, and these are like real-time issues. These are happening. And I think investigations get triggered because of that. But again, how many cases do we really see which get into investigation? So if I can tell you as an insurer, unless there is a third-party claim or unless there is a very acute case of pre-existing damages, multiple damages, and the cause of loss not matching with the vehicle condition, I think these cases form less than 1.5% or maybe maximum 2% of the total claims reported. And this is where the investigation piece gets triggered. But that also is subjective. Like the basic things like document swapping and all, they are like, today the integrations are available with the government agencies, and these are quite prompt. But the larger pieces obviously get into an entangled kind of a conversation. So these do get stretched. So these are my views. Maybe Rohit, if you want to add.
Sreedevi, ma'am.
Yeah. Yes, I would like to answer the first question, that is repair or replace. And especially you were talking about a vehicle which is less than 1 year. So see, here there is a basic concept of principle of indemnity. That is one of the basic contracts of any insurer. So we will never say no to a part that has to be replaced. I think as an insurer, I am very clear on that. If a part has to be replaced, it will be done, it will be replaced. But if it is if it is repairable, then definitely it has to be repaired too. See, we cannot, and in this context, I would also like to talk about, since you raised this question, we had a discussion on the diminishing margins. See, as an insurance company, let me be very clear when I say that when I receive 100 rupees premium, we should also look at the outgo that is happening. On an average, as far as the insurance industry is concerned, I would say when we receive 100 rupees premium, almost 80 to 85 rupees. I am very conservative here. If you look at a public sector company, it would be much more. But let us, on an industry average, it is 80 to 85 rupees goes out to the garages. Around 20%, now that the EOM regulations have come, almost 30% goes out, 30 rupees goes out as our intermediary or procurement costs. And then there is the overheads. So if you look at that, I am so sorry to say it so plainly, the margins are so very, very less. Now, that doesn't reflect on the customer service at all. When we see a customer, and again coming back to your first point, if it has to be repaired, we will definitely have to see that it is repaired. But I don't know, I don't think as an insurer we have ever told that a part which had to be replaced, we say that it should be repaired or anything like that. That is my answer to your first question. On investigations, again, we never investigate a claim unless it is required. Someone was talking about close proximity claims, that is accidents happening just, immediately after taking the policy, or it could be a theft claim, or again it could be a major loss where we, whatever, whether major or minor, where we had a doubt regarding the cause of loss. These are areas where we may appoint an investigator, and definitely we see that the reports come fast. Also taking that cue, I think going forward we will see that the investigation reports happen quite fastly. But the thing is, we do have to investigate at times. So that is something which we cannot avoid altogether. But again, I am repeating that the number of investigations we do is very, very rare or minuscule compared to the total number of claims that we handle.
So just a counter, just a small counter. Our experience is that almost 95% of the cases which are investigated finally get cleared.
Finally get cleared, yes.
So if that is the history, just the amount of claim, can that be a trigger for investigation? Because it is impacting both the dealership, and more than the dealership, it is impacting the customer. So can that be a trigger point is what I think needs discussion. I don't need an answer, but it definitely needs consideration.
Again, I would like to repeat that the percentage of claims for investigations are done. As far as my experience goes, it is very, very small.
I think I'll just add, Nikun sir, you have given the opportunity, by bringing up this point, why repair? Do replace, na? Make a product like that. Why not make a product like that, that there is no repairing, only replacement will happen. There's a pricing to that. Take that price.
I think one last question, please.
Yeah, hi. Just to ask my question quickly. This is about the cashless agreement we have as dealers. All of us as dealers have got cashless agreement with various insurance companies. Now, when we do the cashless agreement, it covers each and every point. Generally, it is one-sided, but it covers the points to the extent that in case after DO, any anomaly or anything incorrect is found in the customer's documents, the claims can be recalled. My point here is that this should be done. All the investigation, the checking, dealer is not responsible for that. Dealer is a facilitator. Dealer is a service provider. This should be done prior to releasing of the DO. Once the DO is released and the vehicle is delivered, such clauses are a deterrent. Now, this is part A. Part B, there is no payment tat defined in the agreements. If the margin of insurers is going down, the point is, it is a known point, the margin on repairs from a dealership side is also going down. It is not increasing. That's a fact. Secondly, there is no provision of any interest, etc. on delayed payments. There is no provision of any penalties on delayed payments or inordinately delayed payments. If the vehicle has been delivered after DO, there could be large payments also, many huge repair bills also. And in the overall volume of dealership, this is a huge working capital which gets blocked. Secondly, I would also urge FADA, if we could get the model dealer agreement on the cashless side also. So I would like to have your insights on these points and suggestions for way forward.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
I think, well said. I think any insurance company would not want its customers to suffer. And every point of time, we would want the customers to have a good experience. And if you look at it, when is the time when the customer actually have an experience dealing with the insurance company? It's only at the time of claim, right? The policy is sold by each one of you. Thanks to you, we get the premium. And that's the only place where we interact with the customers. And as an insurance company, we would never like that experience to be bad. But there are enough of instances where we've seen there have been frauds. Now, we investigate. Our investigation percentage of the cases are very less, right? And as you said, if 95% is also passed after the investigation, that 5% claims which we save on that is of significant value which impacts the P&L of an insurance company. And if I'm saying that if for example, hypothetically we start paying that, in the end it's finally our own P&L, right? We get 100 rupees, we have to manage 100 rupees. And if we start settling those claims, at some place we will have to cut it, right? Be it on the commission side or we have to increase the premium, right? And then everyone who's in the line of business, as you guys are, we are on the lines of business. We are all supposed to manage our P&L, right? If, for example, new vehicles, you said there should not be there, but you also know that in the new vehicles, there's a huge commercials which are involved on that side, right? It impacts our P&L in that way itself, right? Any insurance company would want, as Atul said, we all are ourselves owner of a car, right? We would want our car to go to a garage and the parts to be replaced. But it comes at a cost, and is the customer, is the Indian market today ready to pay that price, right? We all know it's the price war which happens on the motor side, right? It's finally we have to manage our P&L. If we have to let go of something from this, has to be compensated from somewhere else.
I think let's end this, and very good. So you have given us a good point. We'll have that model dealer agreement done soon, and we'll circulate it among all the insurance companies. Thank you. And one point, Nikunj uncle, you said on the dealer policy, package policy. I think this is with IRDA denotifying, and now all insurance companies can set up their package policies, customized package policies. I think this is a challenge and an opportunity for all the insurance companies with 23,000 dealers and growing, and the vast network of dealerships across the country. Much, absolutely. So this is a great opportunity with such an organized industry. I think this is something that the first mover advantage will be great to jump on. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much to all our panelists and our moderator for such a thunderous panel discussion. Well, now is the time for the felicitation, and I would like to invite on stage Mr. John K. Paul to felicitate Mr. Praveen Tiwari. Can we have huge, huge, thunderous applauses, everyone out here? Next, I would like to invite on stage Mr. Harshendra Kumar to felicitate Mr. Rohit Daga. Can we have warm claps, everyone out here? Thank you so much. Next, I would like to invite on stage Mr. Hitendra Nanavati to felicitate Miss Sreedevi Sreedharan Nair. Can we have huge, huge claps? And next, I would like to invite on stage Mr. Govind P. Mewar to felicitate Mr. Vikas Medirata. Can we have warm claps, everyone out here? Now I would like to request Mr. Sharvik Shah to felicitate Mr. Vivek Sahai. Let's not stop the claps. Next, I would like to invite on stage Mr. Venkat Raju Goli to felicitate Mr. Atul Mehta. Let's give it up with lots of claps, everyone out here. Thank you so much. Well, thank you so much, and I would request all of you to gather for a group picture.